What's going on, guys? And welcome back to D&J
Podcast.
Podcast. Yes. And today we're going to be talking about Smallville season 3. I got my notes for it right here. I think I like these Smallville podcasts better not because I like Smallville better than what we've seen, but because there's a lot to talk about,
Yeah.
especially like each season.
Yeah. Season 3, it kind of starts. Well, I mean, we'll talk about it, but season 3 is it's like a transition season for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, season 3 was awesome. Because this is the one where, like, from season 2, that's when all the bad stuff happens, when he destroys the ship and stuff. And this starts when he is in Metropolis and he's on the red kryptonite, and
Right.
it's just like a rogue Clark,
Yeah. Clark's going gangster in Metropolis.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that for you guys. Season 3, it starts off in Metropolis and it shows Clark and he's robbing, doing all the stuff he said he would never do with his, like, you taking advantage of his powers and just like robbing ATMs, robbing banks. He's going to these nightclubs and they're
stealing
what do they call him?
cars.
Yeah, they're calling him Cal.
Cal. Calling him Cal. Yeah. He's going by his Krypton name, just leaving off the L.
Yeah. And
Kryptonian
the people there just like, all the bad people just like respect him,
Yeah. Like, hey, Cal, bringing in a new girl tonight.
Yeah, like he brings in someone new every single night. That's what that's what they say. But meanwhile, this is also really cool. Lex, he's stranded on the island.
Lex is stranded on the island. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's like going insane, basically. He starts seeing that guy that's not even like real. He's not a real guy.
Right. The first time I watched that episode, before we find out that it's part of his imagination, I'm like, man, this guy's crazy. Like he's gonna wind up killing Lex out there. Like you just didn't know what was gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the way they played that and wrote that was awesome.
Yeah. On the island, and then they also have a funeral for him because they don't know.
They have a funeral. Yeah.
And everyone shows up, even like Lana and all them. And this is where Lana actually sees Clark, like in Metropolis, and she goes with him to like one of those nightclubs or something, and that's where this stuff goes down.
Yeah, she's like, I mean, she doesn't know anything about red kryptonite or anything. She just thinks he's like rebelling, because of everything that happened with Jonathan and Martha.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, she finds him, tracks him down to Metropolis, and just hops on the motorcycle with him. Like they're just, well, she's scared she's not going to find him again if she lets him out of her sight.
Yeah. Like on the island, he sees like a plane or something, or helicopter, I can't remember, and he's trying to signal it, but his imaginary friend's like, oh, it's no use. And then he starts like attacking Lex, or like what Lex thinks. And they're like, at the end, he's like, he gets the imaginary guy and starts hitting him. And like, I forgot what happens at this point, but I know a guy from the island comes and finds him. And then we just see that there's no one actually on the ground that he's hitting.
Right. I think it was like a rock or like part of the sand or something.
Yeah.
When he finally came out of it. Yeah.
He's just hitting something. We're thinking that he's killing the dude. And then it cuts to that guy and there's no one there.
No.
And then I'm just like, at first I didn't know what was going on. Then I finally realized, I'm like, what the heck? That's crazy.
That was a crazy episode and a crazy part of the story. I mean, we find out that Helen betrays Lex, and like, she was in on it after she denies it and puts on the little crying show at the funeral. And we think Lionel's initially behind it, but
and
it ends up being her.
Yeah, and one thing we forgot to mention was, like, we think this what was her name?
Helen. Dr.
Helen. We think she's good because she's like helping Clark and stuff in season 2.
Right.
But
Right.
no, it turns out she's just crazy.
Yeah, because she's in one of the episodes. She gets a blood sample from him because Clark doesn't have his powers.
Hmm.
Where the solar, I think it's a solar flares episode where his
Yeah,
powers keep going in and out. Yeah, so she's got that blood sample. So yeah, we
and
think she's a good person and she's not. 'Cause,
yeah, and we
no,
see more of that, by the way, that blood
yeah.
sample with
Oh
the.
yeah, that blood sample leads to a lot of things in the future
Well, what were we gonna
throughout the
say?
seasons.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, the Kents trusted her,
Uh-huh.
not to tell everybody because obviously she knew it wasn't normal blood; it was Kryptonian alien Superman
Hmm.
blood.
Also, like when she's trying to get it, they're like, that needle's not gonna go in his arm, to get the
Yeah,
blood, but it actually does.
yeah.
So that was cool.
I like how they write in parts where they can it shows proof that he's normal.
Mhm.
Like in episodes where he loses his powers, or a couple seasons when he gets shocked and that him and that kid in school trade powers, and then
Mhm.
Clark like the lose your powers episodes always the ones that like where Lex is getting really close to finding out, and then
Yeah.
something derails them.
One thing I don't remember if I've ever told you this, but it's not that I don't like the episodes. I just hate how he's able to lose his powers like that. You know, I feel like
Right.
because he's like Kryptonian, he should never be able to get those powers taken away unless Jor-El takes them.
Yeah. No, I feel you on that. The first time I seen those episodes where he didn't have his powers, I was like, come on, man, just hurry up and get him back. Like, what are you
Yeah,
teasing us for?
like we know he's gonna get them back, so it's like, come on.
Yeah. Like, how is he
But
going to get him back?
yeah, so this is when we're getting into the cool stuff because Jonathan goes to Jor-El
Yeah.
to try to get his son back, and this is when Jonathan or Jor-El gives Jonathan the powers that Clark has,
Yeah.
which is
I got
really
that written
cool.
down on. I got that written down too. Jonathan and Clark fight.
Yeah, they got like a fight in and yeah, he goes to Metropolis and Clark breaks the red kryptonite and it injures. As soon as the red kryptonite breaks, he loses the powers and then that mark on his chest, and then
That
he
was a
goes
sweet
back.
mark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What was that mark? It was a symbol of something. I just can't remember.
It means hope.
Is that that's the S? I thought that was S, wasn't it? Or is that the
The S,
same
yeah.
thing?
The S is yeah. You're right. The S is hope, and then that means something else. Man,
Yeah,
I used to know, but I've forgotten.
but yeah,
But
Lex
yeah,
gets found, and he has to. I think he has. Let's see. I know he confronts Helena or whatever her name is, and
Helen.
yeah, Helen, and she escapes somewhere. I think doesn't she die? Because we don't really see much of her after that. X Factor,
Right.
we don't see her at all.
Yeah. Well, she tricks him to go on the plane again, and
Yeah,
then Lex. Yeah, Lex. He's set up for it this time. He doesn't go for it. And yeah, she. And what does happen to her?
I don't think I remember we don't. I don't think anything happens. She just leaves and then she's never in the show again.
Right.
They
Okay.
just stop talking about her. But yeah, Lex gets put in a mental asylum, and
Yeah.
this is when there's stuff that happens before that. Like I think I think like Lana gets hurt or something. Um,
Yeah.
I'm
Lana
trying to
gets
think.
kicked by the horse and breaks her
Yeah,
leg because
and
Clark's
that's
trying to
when
help Lex. And
yeah,
Clark doesn't want to believe that Lex is actually crazy, but but they were drugging him. They were drugging
yeah,
Lex to make
they were
him think he
drugging
was
him. Yeah.
crazy. The
Um,
psychiatrist was in on it. There's a lot of details, but yeah, to go back to your point, um, Lana gets hurt because Clark and Lex.
mm. um, what's
It
the one guy's name that Lana meets? I couldn't find it.
you know what?
You write it down?
Yeah, no, I was just looking at a site. It was like Smallville fan. It's called Smallville fandom.
Oh,
I'll
really?
find it here. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to the guy that gave us all this information because it's been a while since we've seen season three. I don't remember what his YouTube channel is, but the video is just clips of each season. It goes in order, so it helped us out a lot. Is that the video that you watched?
Um, the one I watched was it was like it was just like clips and there was music behind it.
Yeah, that's
It
the
was
one I
just kind of
watched. Yeah,
okay. Yes, yeah.
yeah,
A lot. That was a great video.
yeah. That helped a lot. And then yeah, but yeah, that she meets that guy in rehab. He's gonna get the name, but it
Adam,
turns out, yeah, Adam.
Adam.
It turns out he's not who he says he is either. I think
Yeah,
at
Adam's
this point,
dead.
yeah, I think he's surviving off Clark's blood. Isn't that right?
Yeah, it's part of the experiments that Lionel's doing.
Uh,
Um, trying to bring people back to life.
so
Some of that dirty LexCorp level 3 stuff going on.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So they want to fry they want to shock Lex's brain and fry it. Because isn't it because Lionel doesn't want him to remember something?
So Lex threatens Lionel at the end of season 2, because Lex finds out that Lionel had his parents killed in that apartment fire that blew up,
Oh,
and
mhm,
him and Morgan Edge were in on it. So Lex
yeah,
finds that out and threatens Lionel. He's like, "Hey, I'll tell everybody you killed your parents." And so that's why Lionel wants his brain shocked so that he forgets like the last 7 months of his life.
yeah. And
Yeah,
that and he
Lionel,
shocks it. He shocks
Lionel's
it,
dirt.
but
Lionel's dirty, man. He's the villain of season 3.
he is. And he
Yeah,
does actually he does a cool little change. You hate him at first, and then like you don't know if you want to trust him or not. And then at the end, he becomes pretty cool.
yeah. His character throughout the series is pretty diverse. He does a great job in every role that he plays on the
Yeah,
show, whether he's evil Lionel or you know future good Lionel.
yeah. But he finds out about Clark. He sees Clark use his powers, Lex, and
Yeah,
he tells him about that. And it's too like Lionel sees that on the camera, but it's too late. He already shocked his brain, so Lex doesn't remember anymore. Um,
yeah. Because Lex is in the mental hospital and he's saying, "Clark, I know your secret. Clark, I
mhm.
know your secret." But yeah, now he's so it's just more cat and mouse. Them not finding out about Clark's secret yet, which was
Do
a good
you
storyline for it.
do you think Clark not telling Lex about his secret kind of made Lex who he was?
Yes,
You think
and
so?
like the causality, like Clark did the right thing not telling him, but in
Mm-hmm.
Lex's mind, that's what Lex uses to hate him. He'd be like, "Hey, if you
Mm-hmm.
were just honest with me," so that's how Lex convinces himself to, how it becomes evil, basically a villain. Because Clark
Mm-hmm.
didn't tell me. I love how Smallville does this version of Lex Luthor. Like in the comics, we just see comic books. We just see him as, always the villain. But
Yeah.
just like we get to see Clark become Superman, we get to see Lex Luthor become the villain Lex Luthor. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
loved about the show.
Yeah. I agree with that. If so, at this point, we'd like find out about Adam, all of his story about how he's dead, basically. And there was that really
Yeah,
cool episode. This is when Adam dies. Really, the phone gets struck by like kryptonite or something, and it like time travels the phone call. You remember that episode?
yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
really cool episode. And we're like, it's
That
like, oh my gosh, because he actually shoots uh Lana in like the time travel version, but then they change it.
right.
So
Yeah.
that was an insane episode. I really like that episode.
That was yeah. I was gonna ask you what your favorite episode of the season was. I have like three. But I was trying to see what yours were because there's so many good episodes. Like
Mhm.
a lot of stuff happens this season. Um, so that episode's probably one of your favorites, the backwards or the time
Yeah, I think
travel.
yeah, I think so. What about
Yeah.
yours?
I like all the ones when he's on the red kryptonite. Those are
Yeah,
some of my
those
favorite episodes.
the red
Um,
kryptonite ones are pretty good. Also he meets the teleporting girl. The one
yeah,
that's crazy at first, and then she goes to like the mental hospital too, and then
yeah, like
turns out to be cool, I guess.
yeah, her and Clark start dating, right? Is that
Yeah,
the
they start dating, and then she's
yeah,
crazy. She's crazy. She tries to kill Lana and stuff. And yeah,
that's
she's
right.
fighting them, and I think we
I
see her
like the
again.
I
What's
like the
up?
episode where Clark is touching things around town and he's having memories about what happened like back in the
Oh yeah,
60s.
yeah, yeah.
So
when
that
Jor-El
episode
came into
was
Earth.
cool.
Yeah.
So we get to see Jor-El, and Jor-El is similar to Clark, and like
Mhm.
he's trying to defy his dad, but he's we find out why they chose the Kents to adopt Clark,
Yeah.
because Jor-El had been there before and knew that the Kents were good people, and so
Mhm.
we learned that it just wasn't a coincidence that the Clark ship just fell out of the sky by the Kents discovered him. It was all kind of premeditated.
Yeah.
Those are some cool episodes. Clark acts like a ghost in the mayor's office,
Oh
and the
yeah,
mayor
yeah, yeah. That
he's
was a good
he's like
episode.
he's like, how are you here? You're dead. That was a cool
Mhm.
episode. He gets to use his powers out in public.
Mhm. And then this is the end of Pete. Pete is leaving Smallville, and then we don't see him again until like one episode. He makes a guest appearance where he has like the
Yeah,
kryptonite gum, and he has like his
yeah, that
arms
was
are all
cool.
stretchy. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah,
Lana is moving to Paris, and when she
yeah,
goes to Paris, I guess next season we figure out who she meets. She meets another dude, and he's also crazy. So we'll get into that next
yeah.
episode, of course.
And the season finale was a big cliffhanger episode, because Clark basically, like Jor-El basically traps Clark into like this Kryptonian temporary prison, and we don't
Yeah.
see Clark. When we see him again in season 4, which we'll do one, we're
Mhm.
seeing Kal-El. We're not seeing Clark Kent. So it's season 4, episode 1 is one of my favorite all time episodes.
I got a question about that. So, what happens if Clark was never broken out of that? He was always, would he just stay as Kal-El? Or do you think Jor-El had a plan to eventually release him?
I think I think Jor-El had a plan to eventually release him. I think it was
Yeah.
like a lesson. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Because we figured out at the end that it's all like a test, basically. So all the stuff that Jor-El put him through was not really like all of his like past rescues and stuff. It was supposed to happen, even though Jor-El said
Yeah,
something completely different.
right.
Yeah, that's the end of season 3, and I completely forgot about this. I think I like season 4 a little bit better than this one. I think I got to rewatch a recap video because that's one where like
Right.
Lana turns into like that witch or something.
Season 4, I think we should probably do a 2-part episode on season 4, because just because there's so much, we
We
need
can do
to do
that.
like
Yeah,
half 1 and half 2. Yeah,
yeah,
let's
we
do
can do
something like
that.
that. Yeah, because season 4 leads into, it ties into all the future seasons, because Lana become that witch, where what they
Mhm.
find out, all the archaeology stuff, and just all the secrets that come with that. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's season 4 is jam packed,
it is. I'm excited to get
as
into
was
it.
season 3. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into it. So Joe Paul's been pretty busy. That's why it's been a little bit since we could get this podcast out, but we're good. I'm glad we got to film this today. It's been a snowy day today.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll get the next podcast out for you guys soon. I have a guy in my class, and he said he can start making our thumbnails for us. And I also
Oh,
got him to
really?
subscribe. Yeah, I also got him to subscribe to our channel. So
Heck yeah.
yeah, so
Sounds good.
I would get people to subscribe. I've also been making those. You've been seeing my TikToks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who you got on
those.
your team? Captain America, Hulk.
Yeah, if you want to, you can start making those too. I could show you how to do it.
Yeah, I would definitely. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna start doing those too.
yeah. So go check out our TikTok. It's going to be the same as our YouTube channel, D&J Podcast.
EJ Podcast.
And yeah, see you guys next time.